On this episode of the Warped Reality Paranormal Podcast, join Ghost Joe and Kreepy Ken as they go behind the bars and beyond the stories of the world's most haunted prisons. Also, Edgegrave Dave gives us his part 2 of the Monroeville Mall, The Living Dead Museum. So grab your shank, your commissary, and your soap on a rope, and let's go to prison.
Do aliens exist, and are they among us? Are weird creatures lurking in the darkness? Do evil entities hide in the shadows of your bedroom while you sleep? Join us as we explore all this and more on the Warped Reality Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Warped Reality Paranormal Podcast. I am Ghost Joe.
I'm Kreepy Ken.
That's Kreepy Ken, everybody.
Yeah,
That's right.
Tried to
What's
sound
going on,
creepy,
everybody?
but I really sounded
It's
the wrong kind of creepy.
Yeah, it was a different kind of creepy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We have a good show for you guys tonight. I think. I mean, I like it. I think it's a cool topic. You know. Anyway, it's about haunted prisons from around the world. And I know a little bit about prisons, working in them for a little bit. Um the thing about haunted prisons is it's like it's got all the makings of a hotspot
Mhm.
for hauntings. You know, everybody says hauntings happen or, spirits are around because of tragedies or unfinished business. I mean, what bigger of a place has more tragedies than a prison? Prisons, hospitals, cemeteries, not even cemeteries, because cemeteries people are at rest, but like prisons have tortured souls and tormented people, things that happen to people there. Um all sorts of things, wrongfully accused people that died there that, you know, shouldn't have, and all this stuff, and sadness, and you know, it's definitely like a hotbed for paranormal activity, you
I'd
know.
say emotionally charged energy would be a big one there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many, I mean, obviously, like we were just saying, there's so many like legit haunted prisons. I mean, some of them I know you guys are gonna know. Some of them you might not know. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna go over some of them, some of the big ones and some of the small ones.
That's what she said.
That's right. That's right. um man.
So I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna actually go with a smaller prison right now. Well, maybe not a smaller prison as far as size, but one that you might not know about. And this one's in Tasmania, Australia. It's called the Port Arthur Historic Site, and it was once a penal colony. For, penal colony.
What?
That's right. A penal colony.
Oh, okay.
Penal. You know, penal.
Is that the same thing
Cutler.
as a penal? Like, okay, so I got a question.
Sure.
If you're not originally from the penal colony and you get into and you go to the penal colony, does that make you a penal implant?
See, now we're gonna get hate mail from all sorts of people.
It's our it's male. Male's male, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And female is no, we're not
True.
gonna go there. We're not
it a
gonna
fe-
go there.
There's a good question. Is it a female man or a female mailman? It always confuses me. I don't know what to call him.
Postal postal employee.
Postal
Postal
worker.
postal
Yeah,
person.
that's it. That's it. I get confused easy like that.
So so it was once a penal colony for the most hardened British and Irish criminals. And the Port Arthur was a place of extreme suffering. More than 1,000 people died there during its 47 years as a settlement, and many believe that their spirits actually remain there.
Hmm.
Yeah, what you can experience there, visitors and staff have reported hearing disembodied footsteps, strange voices, and other unexplained noises in the historic buildings and ruins. Um, in the haunted ruins, apparitions are frequently seen wandering through the dilapidated buildings, and visitors on ghost tours and stuff have reported feeling a sense of dread or being physically touched by an entity. Um, that's one thing I've never actually experienced before. I've heard breaths. I've I've seen a lot of apparitions, but I don't believe I've ever been touched appropriately or inappropriately by by an entity.
It how about at work? At work, have you seen stuff?
So I've said it a few times on the show, but since this is a haunted prison show, I guess I could run through it real quick. Um, yeah, I've had a couple. I mean, one of the ones that really is definitely like a big thing for me was I was working in this when I started city corrections. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to say any jail names or anything like that. But it was with younger adults, okay? And I was working in this area where unfortunately this young boy had gotten um beaten so bad that he bled internally. Now,
Mm,
mind you, I wasn't there at this point. I had gotten on the job for like 3 years after this incident had happened. And it was a really big thing. Even officers went to jail for certain things and got in trouble for neglecting certain things and all this stuff. Um, so this boy had gotten killed, and actually, from what I was told, it was all because he didn't want to join a gang, and they were forcing him to do something. Like they were trying to force him to choose a gang, and he's like, I don't want to be in a gang," and they were trying to force him to do it. Real messed up. So he ended up bleeding out and passed bleeding internally, and he died in his cell. So now fast forward like 3 or 4 years later, and I'm working in the same housing area that this boy had been in. At this point now, it's not a regular housing area like it was, so the inmates weren't freely moving around. They were locked in, 23 out of 24 hours out of the day. It's called you know, the special housing area or, not really solitary confinement, you don't really call it that anymore, but it's similar to that, right? So I'm on the floor, everybody else is locked in. I'm the only one on the floor, and I'm talking to my coworker who was in the, A station in the bubble area that's that was about, I'd probably say, like, 10 feet in front of me, and he's in, like, this bubble area with the window and stuff, and I'm talking to him. Now, we used to keep this bucket on top of this ledge that had all of like the toilet paper and toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, and stuff like that. So whenever these guys needed something, I would have to run over there and give them like soap or whatever they needed. So I'm talking to my buddy, and this bucket on the shelf is behind me. Again, nobody around. All of a sudden, the bucket flips off and falls on the floor, and everything like goes all over the place. Out of nowhere. No windows open. We don't have windows. It's jail, right?
mm.
It just falls on the floor, everything falls, and my coworker was just, like, looking in awe, like, "What the hell just happened?" Because he saw it happen in front of him,
Ooh, yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, that's probably my fault, man." He goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, I I kind of attract sometimes these paranormal things that happen, and, that's probably why whatever entity, if it was the boy or not, I don't know, but, you know, he knew that I guess you know, I could sense these things or whatever, and he was, I guess, just telling me that he was there, you know? And, yeah, so that was pretty crazy because whenever something like that happens in front of you and there's no reason for it,
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is not a heavy bucket, but there was stuff in it, so it's not
Sure.
like it could have just fallen off on its own or no, it was placed on the shelf securely kind of, and it just flew off the shelf like, you know. So that was one thing. A couple of other times I thought I had seen things like out of the corner of my eye. But I don't really, you know, to me that's just like, if I'm not seeing it straight on, then it
Yeah. I know what you
I
mean.
don't really count that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was pretty much the main thing that's happened um with me with the jails. But I know, I did work in a very, very famous prison, a while back. That's not on our list, but I did work there, and in that prison was where the very first electric chair was,
Really?
and it was called Old Sparky.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, yeah, and I know that that prison was super duper haunted, but the thing is with that place is there's a lot of stuff going on at all the time, and it's you can't really unless you're walking around there, when everybody's locked in, everybody's sleeping or whatever, you can't really focus on anything because there's just too much going on, and you have to kinda always be, like, on guard or whatever, watching everything around you.
Yeah.
So you can't really, focus on that kinda stuff. But, yeah, if any place is haunted, I would definitely think that is. And I also, went with the Get Haunted crew. I went to the Mid Orange Correctional Facility, and had a ghost tour there, back in April, and I experienced some stuff over there,
Hmm.
which I kinda figured I was going to because, I mean, it's an abandoned prison, and I'm a correction officer, why wouldn't it happen to me, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
I was kind of enticing it, I'm like, "Come on, I'm here. Come on." Like, I wasn't doing a Zach Bagans.
Sure.
I'm not that
Right.
crazy.
We
I
believe
wasn't
you.
doing that. I wasn't doing a Zach Bagans, but
Come
I
on,
was like,
inmates, fight me.
but yeah, man, it's I mean, it's a crazy thing, just to be in that kind of environment, even when you're on the side of the bars that I'm on, it's just when you walk into a maximum security prison and you hear those gates close behind you, it sends chills down your spine, man.
Yeah, I believe
Whether
that.
you work there or not, I mean, like, you just like, "Whoa, what the hell?" Like, I'm really in prison right now. The
It's
yard has 30-foot cement walls, like
shit gets real, man. It's like same as
yeah.
when I was fighting, you walk out to the cage, you walk up the steps to the cage and they shut the cage door. You're like, "All right, that's it. It's me and this dude and that's it," Like no turning back now. I can't say
No,
no now.
no.
So,
And that's why and again, this is something I say all the time, but I can't drive this point home more than ever, like, that's my whole issue with all of the ghost hunting shows. You're there to investigate paranormal activity. So why the hell when you hear a noise, you're running away from it?
yeah.
I understand you're trying to make good TV or whatever, but if you wanna be like a legit paranormal investigator or you want people to think you are, you don't run away from it, you run towards it.
Right.
That's your job.
Yeah.
Your job is to investigate paranormal activity, not to run away from it, and
Makes
that's why I
sense to
stopped
me.
watching those shows. That's why I stopped watching all of them. The only paranormal show that I watch is like those paranormal caught on camera shows
I love those
because it's
shows.
almost because it's almost like TikTok on TV,
Yeah.
it shows you a haunted thing that happened, and then on to the next thing, and then on to the next thing. There's no judgments, there's no, "Oh, this happened here," that no, it's just it tells you what happened, and then it scrolls on to the next thing,
I get
and that's
sucked
why I
into
like
those
that
shows.
show.
I get sucked
Oh,
into that
hell
shit,
yeah.
man. I get sucked in.
Yeah.
I'm like just entranced because it's just a good show. They keep it going. I like it. You're right about that.
Yeah, yeah, it's like TikTok on TV,
Yeah.
basically. That's short form videos,
Sure.
and that's what I liked about it. Um Some of the other shows were okay, but again, with the Ghost Hunters was great in the beginning, and then it fell off towards the end because they got a little too crazy with, seeing too much stuff. When in the first 2 seasons, they weren't really seeing much of anything, and that's why I liked them, you know?
Yeah.
But, I guess you gotta make good TV, and if you're making money, I'm sure the producers are like, "Listen, you gotta start finding stuff,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be finding a new job if you don't,
Yeah.
you know?
Like that. What's
So I understand that.
that one damn show, the Curse of Oak Island that went on for 3,000 seasons, and I think they found like one golden nugget. I just about cussed again. Did you hear me? Jeez.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that.
It's that F word. It gets me, man. I like when he used it. It's like instilled in me. It's like it should be my every other word, and holding it back is really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So, before we move on to the next thing, and we went off a little bit on a tangent here. With the Port Arthur historic site, there's actually a place called the Isle of the Dead,
Ooh,
which I thought was pretty freaking cool. That sounds like a good album name,
it
like a
does.
good heavy metal album name, the Isle of the
Like
Dead.
Slayer made it. That'd
And
be a Slayer album.
yeah, absolutely. This island cemetery, it's a cemetery where countless convicts were buried, is a site of many reported hauntings and strange phenomenon. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one queued up, or
I
you want me to keep
do.
going?
I do.
Go ahead, man.
And you know this one. I know you know this one. It's in Ohio. Can you think of a famous prison in Ohio?
I could. Yes, sir.
The Shawshank Prison. How about that? They filmed Shawshank there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Oh,
Ohio State
absolutely.
Reformatory, Mansfield Reformatory, man. I've been there countless times. It's a cool place.
Have you?
Yeah, man. It was well, a town over from where I grew up, so we'd go out there all the time. Plus, it's this big, beautiful building. It's so gorgeous. It looks like a castle. It's
Hmm.
crazy. So it was constructed between 1886 and 1910, and it was originally built for first-time offenders. It was designed to rehabilitate through faith, education, and work. It's a blend of Gothic and Romanesque and Queen Anne style architecture. Um, it's really a cool place. If you've never seen a picture of it, look up a picture of the Mansfield Reformatory because I promise you, you're going to be like, that's a badass building. Um,
It's awesome.
yeah. So over time, the reformatory devolved into a place where like lots of prisons do, overcrowding was constant, violence, abuse, inhumane conditions. They used torture methods like the sweat box and the hole, um, which you're in prison. It doesn't really torture 'em. Like
Right. Right.
I'm that kind of guy. I'm that guy. You're in prison for a
Like,
reason. Like let's make it prison. It isn't like today where they hand you like tablets and stuff when you go in.
like, like listening to Justin Bieber. Like they put like headphones on you, strap headphones on you, and you got to listen to Justin
Yeah.
Bieber for like a week straight.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber puts out some all right stuff, man. As long as I don't have to hear him talk.
All right. This is over. This is over. You're fired.
Oh, so they closed the prison in 1990. I remember when they closed it. Because it had harsh conditions. But then in 1995, the Mansfield Reformatory Preservation Society they started to restore it. Um, as I said, the Shawshank Redemption was filmed there, which is, of course, one of the most amazing films ever. I think.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you can actually spend the night in that prison. The waiting list is like 2 years long though. Um, but every year they do ghost
It's
hunts
awesome.
where you can walk through it at like Halloween and stuff like that. And then they do the incarceration tour there every year, which is really cool. They have tattoo artists from all over the country go there, and you can get a tattoo at the prison, which is kind of neat. But some of the most haunted hotspots in the place are the basement. They say it's one of the most unsettling areas.
It's
Witnesses
awesome.
report flickering shadows and a 14-year-old boy. I don't know why there's a 14-year-old boy in a prison, but he was believed to have been beaten to death. They see him darting across the walls. And then there's a darker, more sinister spirit also said to linger there. It
Huh.
has a very oppressive energy to it. The hole is another one. You know, Solitary confinement. I guess you it's the same thing. Um, so it's supposed to have real intense paranormal activity, and visitors often experience cold spots, nausea, and the feeling of being watched there.
Yeah.
Then they have the chair room. It's a small windowless room with one chair facing the door. And reports include physical scratches and manifestations from dark entities. Um,
Wow.
the warden's quarters, another one. There's a mysterious woman that hangs out. I don't know what her name is. They say it's Helen Glatke. She's the superintendent's wife who died tragically in 1949 uh, due to an accidental self-inflicted gunshot.
Accidental self-inflicted.
Yeah, so she accidentally shot herself and died.
Huh.
Um, yeah, so
Hmm.
that's one. And then you got your normal torture and tragedy and unrest. And
Yeah,
they have all kinds of cool stuff there, cool little programs that you can do. Like I said, you can get on a waiting list and go and camp out the whole weekend there, I believe,
that's
which is kind of
awesome.
cool. Yeah. So it's a cool place, man. It's a big, beautiful building, and if you're from the area that I'm from, it's everybody knows about it. Everybody knows about it, and it's a cool place. Plus, they still have some of the set props and stuff from the Shawshank Redemption there. You can check out while you're there.
That's awesome. I
Yeah,
mean, dude, that's one of the greatest movies of all time.
yeah, it's good.
Either get busy living or get busy dying.
That's it,
Like that
man.
that
That's it.
that movie was that's definitely one of my favorite movies of all time,
Yeah,
without
it's a
a
good
doubt,
movie.
man, without a doubt. Like, the whole cast was freaking phenomenal.
Stephen
Um,
King, man, I say it all the time. He does his best when he doesn't do horror.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're right. Um, yeah, one thing that I failed to mention before with the Old Sparky, the first electric chair. Did you know, Ken, that the first bunch of trials, didn't work out? They
Why?
didn't fully, kill the person with the electric chair.
Really?
So, yeah, so they had things where I think the first time they tried it, the guy was still alive, but his eyeballs popped out, and,
Huh.
all sorts of craziness, like he was burnt to a crisp, but yet he was still alive. It didn't kill him.
They make a movie like something about that, like in the '90s, called Shocker or something like that.
Is that what that was about? I've heard of
Yeah,
Shocker.
it was
I didn't
something
know what
like
it
that.
was.
Yeah, well, I bet you they wouldn't name that movie that anymore.
And actually, I had heard, don't quote me on this, but I had actually heard that if somebody is whatever in the gas chamber or on the electric chair, whatever it is that happens, and it malfunctions, that basically like that's it. Like they're not going to get another shot. Like it doesn't happen again. Basically, like if for some reason they did the electric chair and the power goes out, or somehow they survived it, or they survived the lethal injection or something, that they've served their time at that point.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if that's true. It's got to be, right? That's kind of divine intervention, you'd think.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, in a way, it kinda does make sense. I mean, you feel bad for the people that, were kinda hoping for it to happen, but, you know, if it happened and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, I guess that's it, But, yeah, man, I'm gonna get into one of the bigger ones now. Let's go with Alcatraz, 'cause that's a big one right there. Everybody knows Alcatraz. It's in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay. I got to actually see it up close, but I unfortunately didn't get a chance to do the tour because I was young when I went there and I didn't realize that you had to kind of like book that in advance. Um, so I didn't get to go in it, but I got to see it from the outside, which was, I mean, super menacing, Alcatraz.
That's what he said.
See, that's actually what you missed, right? Because I had said, let's just have a preempted, that's what she or he said, because so we don't have to keep saying it, it's just kind of implied.
Well, I'm glad I missed it because
It's
that was
just kind of
funny.
implied.
It is.
Um, so Alcatraz is known as the Rock, right? It's the Rock. It's the famous one, you know? It was considered to be escape proof, and it housed some of America's most notorious criminals and is now actually a national park and a huge tourist attraction. Um, so some of the crazy things that happen there is in cell block D, there's reports of moaning, crying, and the sounds of chains are common in that block, particularly in the solitary confinement cells. And an inmate who died in cell 14D is said to still haunt it. You also have the Butcher Ghost, which legend holds that a ghost known as the Butcher haunts cell block C, where he was allegedly murdered in the 1940s. Yeah, and then there's also the warden's house apparitions. that the it's a burned out shell now, but the warden's house is reported to be a hotspot for apparitions. Guards once saw a ghost in a gray suit who caused the room to turn ice cold and the fire in the stove to go out.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, man. Alcatraz, man. I mean, you can't get much more notorious than that.
And that's where that's where Al Capone was, right?
He's been in a lot of places, bro. He's yeah, he was there and he was in another one that we're gonna talk about in a little bit also.
Is that the one? Okay, that's the one I'm thinking of then, where he had his
But
experiences
he
at.
was in Alcatraz as well. But no, he experienced some stuff in a different place. If you want me to get into that one right now, I will. It's the Eastern State Penitentiary,
Yeah, that's
and
it.
that's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was basically a model for prison reform, and it operated from 1829 to 1971. So it had a long run, and its system of solitary confinement was designed to promote spiritual reflection, but it led many inmates to go insane. So there's shadow figures that are frequently seen there, moving along the walls and the cell blocks, disembodied voices, and the cut water is kicking in now. And
Oh,
Yeah, disembodied voices and wails have been heard in cell block 12, which was a hub of violent activity. And then Al
like
Capone.
whales, like the
No,
hold on,
not like whales, like the
like the
whales that
sea
swim.
creature. Yeah, the
No,
mammal.
no, no, no,
Okay.
not that
I was
whale.
say
Like
that'd be weird, man. If you just heard a whale like,
I think
you
it'd
know
be
what I mean?
weirder
Because
if you
that
saw a whale apparition, though. I think that'd be even weirder.
it'd be weird if it'd be even weirder if I could get the whale sound right, because that's a weird sound.
So, Al Capone had actually, Al Capone served time in Eastern State Penitentiary. Um, Obviously, everybody knows Al Capone, but he was a famous gangster, and he was actually reportedly tormented by the ghost of James Clark, who was a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre uh, while he was in prison there. So Al Capone, was actually haunted by a spirit in Eastern State Penitentiary. So
A spirit that he ordered to die, right? One of the guys that he
yeah,
killed.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Al Capone was a bad man. He was a bad guy, and I actually got to go to Eastern State Penitentiary a few years back. I saw Al Capone's cell. It was pretty cool, but my thing was we had went there during Halloween, so they were doing the whole Halloween get up,
Oh yeah,
where people are scaring you and stuff like that. I want to go back there one day where I could actually just be there without all that craziness. Like, I wanna
yeah.
do it, like, for the real, like, paranormal thing, not just to get spooked and scared of, 'cause that listen, I don't get scared that easy.
Me
I wanna
either.
be there for the real paranormal stuff, not for that, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was cool. It was a cool experience just to be in there. Um, and then also in the Eastern State Penitentiary is the Soap Lady, and that's an apparition of a woman in a white dress, and she's said to sit in a cell on the second floor, which was once the woman's block. And fun fact is, not far from Eastern State Penitentiary are two amazing Philly cheesesteak places that definitely seal the deal at the end of the night. You can't beat
Really?
Philly cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, sir.
No, I bet not.
And I got to see
Or
them.
chopped cheese in New York.
That's right, chopped cheese. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Um, yeah, and the Rocky statue is in Philadelphia as well, not far from Eastern State Penitentiary, so that's cool too. See the Rocky
Heck yeah.
statue, you know?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
I've
man.
been to Philly a couple times. It's a cool place.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it is a very cool place, very historic and definitely a cool place to go to visit in the daytime, you know?
In the daytime.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, so why don't you go on? Go on to another one.
So what I have is one of my favorites, and it's here, and I've been in it. It's in Charleston, South Carolina here,
Okay.
and it's the Haunted Old City Jail of Charleston. Another cool looking building, not very big. It's not a very big building. It's really, really old. It was built in 1802.
Mhm.
Um, It's a cool place. They do ghost tours and all kinds of stuff in it. And me and my boys went in there and did a ghost tour one time. And my kids caught a bunch of stuff on cameras, like these, like they weren't orbs in your traditional sense. They were like these red floating. They were big, they were kind of cool, and they were red, like they were giving off light. It was kind of neat. It served as a jail for Charleston until 1939, man. So that's a long time. It housed all manners of prisoners, right? Since 2016, the building underwent a renovation, and now it functions as kind of like an event venue, I guess. Um, and you can like rent it out for things. But one of the cool things about it is it's really pretty haunted, and it's notorious for being haunted. One of the coolest things, and I think we touched on it episode or two ago, or we were going to and we didn't get to it, was the Lavinia Fisher story. So Lavinia Fisher and her husband John, in the early 19th century, they were innkeepers at a place called 6 Mile Wayfarer House, and it was on like one of the main roads leading into Charleston. So what they would do is they were accused of luring travelers into their inn, and they'd rob them, of course. But what they would do is she would poison them with tea, and then her husband John would finish the job. And they had trap doors built in their inn, and they'd drop them right down into a pit of limestone, which
What?
is which is kind of crazy. And I don't know if I believe this because I don't know how deep this pit could have been, because I'm 20 miles west of Charleston, and you cannot dig more than 6 feet here without hitting water.
Wow.
So you go to Charleston, and it sees three drops of rain and it floods. So I don't really think you can go down that far. So I don't know about this pit unless it was a house on stilts, which is possible because there's quite a bit of those out here. So anyway, they were caught. They had an escapee that got away. They were caught in 1819, and they were held at Old County Jail until their execution by hanging in 1820. But Lavinia is reportedly, um, she reportedly dressed in her wedding gown, and famously said before they dropped her, they said, "If you have a message for the devil, tell me now. I'll be seeing him shortly," is what she said. So that's kind of creepy. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, she's a big spirit that lots and lots of people see there. There's all kinds of photos of Lavinia Fisher there. You can go check out her cell, just as they say, just as it was. But they see apparitions of this woman wearing a white dress walking all through this building. You can hear footsteps and echoes, and it's not a large building, but everything's wood in there because it's old. But it is
Yeah.
very echoey, and because they're vaulted ceilings in there. I think it's like 5 stories high. Um, you know, it's kind of a cool little story, and it's if you know Charleston, any Charleston, ghost stuff, it's kind of everything's rooted in uh, you know, history here. We're one of the
Right.
oldest cities on the coastline, and it's everybody really goes back to that history thing. So lots of older ghosts here is what I'm trying to say, not so many
Yeah.
newer ones. But yeah,
Right.
it's one of my
Right.
favorite stories because it's just another, it's just a fascinating building, another beautiful building to look at. And it sometime, Joe, when you come down here on your vacation and you stop going to Maryland, you can come down here and see the real ocean, and then I'll take you on the ghost tour, and you can do the ghost tour by horse-drawn carriage. So we can be like on a date.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
It is kind of cool because they take you on a
Very cool.
horse-drawn carriage, and they stop at all these haunted places, and then you can
That's
walk the
cool.
tour as well. It's really, really a cool
That
place.
is very cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, that's super cool. That's very, very cool. Um, Also, let's interject it right now. I might as well, that if any of you guys have ever been to any of these ghost tours or whatever, or any of these buildings, any of these haunted places, or had any kind of paranormal experience, let us know 845 600 0744. You could email me at ghostjoeny at gmail.com, or you could go to our new website. That's awesome. That Creepy Ken had made. Definitely check it out. Has awesome stuff, great news, paranormal news, and all of our shows and videos and a blog. And it has a submit your story, basically. Submit your experience page where you could submit your experience, and it'll come straight to us. And we may read it on the show.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the website is warpedrealityparanormal.com.
Sweet. What you got next, Joe?
So the next one I got, I got a lot here, but I'm trying to pick and choose because we already went kind of far. But you know what? I don't care, man. I don't care. But you gotta go to sleep soon. Your bedtime is coming up soon, so we
It
can't.
is.
Yeah.
I
Um,
I'll be driving about 7 hours tomorrow.
Damn,
So
dude. So let's go this one because I've seen this one on some TV shows, the old Joliet prison in Joliet, Illinois. So this place operated from 1858 to 2002, and it was known for its violence and overcrowding. It has Gothic architecture, and its dark history has made it popular. It's made it a popular destination for many paranormal investigators. It's had shadowy anomalies. The photos taken at the prison often contain unexplainable shadows and figures. People have heard disembodied voices and reported hearing ghostly wails again, whales, crying and even whistling coming from the empty cell blocks. And of course, I mean, this one kind of goes without saying. I don't know if this was considered paranormal because I think anybody would have negative feelings being in any kind of prison, haunted or not,
yeah,
but yeah,
I
negative
agree.
feelings is another big thing about that place. Um, so yeah, that's the old Joliet prison. Another place is the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia. And this prison operated from 1876 to 1995, and it was a site of a lot of violence, with numerous murders and riots. And 94 men were executed by hanging or electric chair in this place.
Dang.
The Yeah, I mean the Sugar Shack, which was the recreation room in the basement. I don't know why they would call it the Sugar Shack, but that's what it's called, the
I
Sugar
thought that
Shack.
was a
I guess I do know
that
why,
was a
but
B-52
you
song.
know, no, that's this place, man. And it was a hub for gambling, violence, and murder. And it's considered a major hotspot with paranormal activity. Visitors and staff have reported hearing disembodied voices, feeling sudden cold spots, and an overwhelming sense of dread. There's also been the Shadow Man has been seen there as well. Many have claimed to see this dark, shadowy figure lurking in the walls of the North Hall, where the prison's most violent and disturbed inmates were housed. Again, you have the Lady in White, another Lady in White. This seems to be a popular thing in these prisons. Um, and it's an apparition of a woman in a long white dress, and she's said to wander the halls, and she's believed to be the ghost of a woman who is accused of murdering her child.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Let's do the old Adelaide Gowl. I don't know how to say that, but it's Gaol. You tell me. Old Adelaide Gowl, and it's in Adelaide, Australia. This one's pretty crazy, man. It operated for 147 years. The prison housed over 300,000 inmates and saw 45 executions. The executed were buried within the prison grounds, and many believe their spirits are still there. Apparitions of former prisoners and guards are commonly seen. One well-known ghost is of Governor Ashton, who is said to haunt the building he once managed. The sound of a bell, the prison's bell, which was rung to mark executions, is said to sometimes toll on its own. That's creepy as hell.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine getting that on an EVP or something, or like you
Yeah.
being there and that bell ringing.
Nah,
That
I
would be
wouldn't like that.
awesome. No, that would be awesome. I would totally be like, "That is so cool." Um, and then, of course, you got the disembodied footsteps and voices. A lot of visitors on tours have reported hearing heavy footsteps and sounds of inmate voices coming from the cell blocks. So that one's pretty crazy, man. Over 300,000 inmates. That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is.
Yeah. You got another place in Dublin, Ireland, the Kilmainham Gowl. I guess that's how you say that. That's how I'm saying that word. Okay, and
I bet
that
it's
one.
jail.
Well, is 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 that how you would say? Well, I don't know, man.
I bet you know those people from England that can't and they made the language and they can't say it or speak it or write it. They always do some funky stuff like jail is JAOL.
All right.
I wonder if it is. We
I
got to
don't
do the
know.
pronunciation thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, this place in Dublin, Ireland, um, and this one it says that it has a haunted chapel. Now that's actually a big thing in most of these prisons. Most of the time, the chapels are haunted. I mean, it goes kind of without saying. A lot of people go there to pray, and there's a lot of people that are going there to confess their sins and stuff like that. And yeah, so there's a haunted chapel there. A number of people have reported seeing a strange light or a glowing figure in the chapel. There's a spirit of an old man that is in this old fashioned prison uniform wandering the halls. And then there's also the sound of children. The children's section of the prison is said to be haunted by the spirits of young boys who were held there. Visitors report hearing their faint voices and cries.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to
Um,
Ireland someday.
are you?
It's on my list.
Nice. Nice. I'm like a quarter Irish. So guess that's why I like my cut waters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, I mean, look, haunted prisons, there's so many of them. And it goes without saying, like we were saying before. And and it's funny too, because I always wanted to do a segment on or a show on haunted prisons. So I'm glad we finally got to do it. Um, because it is a big thing. And actually, I have a list here of some places that are probably coming up pretty soon. Definitely when you guys are hearing this, of some Halloween and ghost tours and stuff that happen in some of these prisons. So I'm just going to run through it really quickly. So the West Virginia Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia, they offer a variety of paranormal experiences, twilight tours, and public ghost tours. Um, During the Halloween season, they have a haunted house event called the Dungeon and a flashlight tour called the North Walk. So that sounds pretty cool. In the one that we just talked about, the old Adelaide jail in Australia. They offer ghost tours and paranormal investigations throughout the whole year, and yeah, it's been running for over 3 decades too. So that's been around for a while. The Wyoming Territorial Prison also has some haunted night tours. Alcatraz has some ghost tours going on. That would be amazing. Of course, the Eastern State Penitentiary, like I had told you, that one's called Halloween Nights, which is what I went to. The Fort Delaware also has some Halloween and some ghost tours, as well as Kilmingham Jail in Dublin, Ireland, as well. So there's a lot going on, and we'll probably get into a little bit more of that too about some of the stuff that's going to be coming around during Halloween. And I think I hope. I mean, I don't think we have any plans. I don't think we have anything planned yet, but we're gonna have some cool stuff planned for Halloween show and some stuff for Halloween because it's a paranormal
Sure.
show, right? We have to have that.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, so definitely stay tuned for that, guys, and definitely check out the website warpedrealityparanormal.com. Call the number 845-600-0744. Check out our TikTok, Instagram, Facebook groups, and our YouTube. Definitely go to our YouTube and subscribe and all that stuff too. We're building up everything and we're pushing out a lot of content too. So, a lot of really cool content that I know you guys are going to like. So, definitely check that out. We have a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, including some awesome interviews that we have lined up too. So, definitely stay tuned for that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm excited about where this thing's going, man.
So before we make like Andy Dufresne and vanish like a fart in the wind, let's check in with Edgegrave Dave with his awesome, horrible review of part 2 of the Monroeville Mall. Let's take it away, Edgegrave.
Horrible reviews with Edgegrave David. Last time on part 1 of Edgegrave Dave's horrible review of the Monroeville Mall, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we learned that a horror film called The Dawn of the Dead in 1978 was filmed there, along with many interesting facts and plaques that are located on the wall. We also learned many changes that have come of the mall, along with a possible way to save the mall. So now we head on into the Living Dead Museum. Can we survive? And survive we shall. Welcome, Living Dead grave diggers, to part 2 of the Monroeville Mall and Dawn of the Dead, as we head on into the Living Dead Museum. At this time, I'd like to issue a very blood-soaked Edgegrave warning, spoiler alert, as there might be spoilers to certain pop culture references and movies. So if you hear something that you might want to discover on your own cinematically, I respect that and completely understand. If you'd like to take the journey, let's get on our boots and stalk down the blood-soaked hallways with the handprints. Here we go, go, go. So the first thing that I want to tell you is if you have made it to the Monroeville Mall not to go shopping, you know why you have gone here. You've gone here because Dawn of the Dead was filmed here in 1978. You owe it to yourself to definitely, absolutely make a stop at the Living Dead Museum. This was established in 2008, and it is an excellent testament to horror and zombie culture as we know it, with a timeline. It is very easy to find right near J.C. Penney on the upper level. And admission, guys, check this out. It's only $8 for ages 13 and up. There is a military discount for $7. Children under the age of 12 will get in for free. And I'll be very honest with you, I don't think that this is something that a child older than maybe 5 or 6 wouldn't be able to handle, but it does sure depend on the kid, and there is a great deal of parental discretion that is advised. If you've taken them into, let's say, a Spirit Halloween store or certain more lighter Halloween attractions, or even Halloween decorations that have a couple of things moving around on your block, then this really shouldn't be that bad. And there really isn't anything that moves around too much. There's certainly nothing that'll jump around. Jump around, jump up, and get down. That's pretty funny. That will jump out at you. So I think that they'll be okay. I did bring both of my kids. I did bring my nephew, who isn't really into anything scary all that much. And I said, don't worry, it'll be okay. Just, if you have to leave, you are in a mall after all. So he really did stay for just about the entire time, and he wasn't scared. I would say you can clear the entire Living Dead Museum in about 20 minutes, but you might owe it to yourself to stay for about 45 minutes. I think that's how long that we stayed. There is a lot to take in for such a small little space. You have scripts and props, and you have lots of information about the props, things that you're going to want to read about. And there is a whole zombie timeline in there that they are fully dressed up and straight out of the movie. Oh, yeah. Not to mention the gift shop that you enter and exit out of. Some of my favorite highlights include an actual limb with tubes in them that was used to squirt blood in the 1978 Dawn of the Dead movie. You have a radio that is playing from Night of the Living Dead from 1968 that is warning people and telling people about zombies. You get a real feel about how some of these films were filmed. You actually have a production light that was used in the farmhouse interior in Night of the Living Dead. You have a piece of the escalator that the zombies were coming up from Dawn of the Dead. You have a whole shelf of all different props, including, did you guys know, and I don't know if Ghost Joe knew this one. From Terrifier 3, we had a cameo of Tom Savini, and he's talking in the mall about all the havoc that Art the Clown had when he was dressed up as Santa and the bomb went off. Well, they actually have the prop that Tom Savini used in Terrifier 3, where it's a screen cover that says WGON and it goes over the microphone when the reporter is interviewing him. I thought it was pretty cool that they had a sign that said Terrifier 3 Dawn of the Dead Easter egg, because it absolutely was pretty cool stuff. They had a prop of an airplane that you can sit down in and buckle your seat from Mindhunter, which I've never seen actually. Not too far from there, you get a prop from Creepshow, which I just love Creepshow 1 and 2. I've seen a little bit of the series, but man, that original Stephen King and George A. Romero compilation of Creepshow 1 and 2, I used to love those movies from the 80s. You also have a prop from Zombie. Now, I may have spoken about this before, and I'm surely will elaborate more on this now. You had a film called Zombie 2 that was Italian, and here in the States, it was called Zombie. It was loosely based as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, but not really. They sort of used the marketing for that. But to be honest with you, it's as much of a sequel as Return to Oz was to The Wizard of Oz. It's just amazing how back in the late 70s and the early to mid 80s, you could really get away with that. But if you've ever seen the poster, "We're going to eat you," you have a gross, mutilated zombie head coming up that has worms coming out of them. Yeah, they actually had the prop from that. And I gotta say, I started singing to myself, "It's close to midnight," when I saw a giant Michael Jackson life size in the red leather jacket zombie-fied Thriller all the way from MTV. That is the very first, as they said it, zombie pop culture crossover. Way to go, MTV. That's some pop culture for you. You will also come across those bloody handprints that I had mentioned earlier from the Mall of Fame, which has some awesome horror people that have visited before. But the main event, and this actually, for me anyway, has nothing to do with Dawn of the Dead. You get the Evil Dead 2 piece of the work shed, and you get a whole prop setup from Evil Dead 2. You get to see Ash's chainsaw, his boomstick, and the hand that was running away. You get to see the little animatronic part of that in a glass case. That was so awesome. Not to mention at the end, right before he goes back in time, and you see that tree stump that's starting to chomp him up. Oh man, I was in my glory, and that was completely unexpected. And of course, we have to talk about the end of Dawn of the Dead. Major spoiler alert: when Steven turns into a zombie, you get to see the security footage of him fighting them off with his shotgun. And of course, he does the best that he could. Those elevator doors close and open to reveal a life-size prop from that scene where he is a zombie and all bloodied up. Once again, I was in my glory. So my friends and zombie diggers, probably some of the best $8 per head that I had ever spent. I had come out, and while it's a very small gift shop, they had a piece of the escalator fragment from Dawn of the Dead, and I just had to have that. That is going next to, from a Monster Mania, I have a piece of the cabin from Evil Dead 2. It turns out that they are both certified from the same company. They are both authentic, and it's always awesome to have something like that. But of course, I did get 2 more t-shirts to add to the mountain that I have sticking out of my closet at home. I want to thank you guys for the time. In part 3, we will talk about the Dawn of the Dead film, and I think it was so awesome that I got to come to this place. I hope everybody gets to check it out one of these days, and I hope that we all get to go to the mall and not just get to shop at another Walmart. Back to you, Ghost Joe.
Thank you as always, Edgegrave Dave, my brother from another mother. Yeah, that sounds amazing, man. That whole museum sounds freaking phenomenal, and I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. Just for the Terrifier and the Evil Dead 2 stuff alone, is enough for me, especially with that cheap price too. That sounds freaking incredible, and I'm definitely gonna make my way down there because Evil Dead 2, if anybody knows, Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I just love the cheekiness and the campiness and everything about it. I mean, Bruce Campbell is the man, and of course, Terrifier. You know, me and Edgegrave have this obsession with Art the Clown and David Howard Thornton, and yeah, so yeah, definitely check it out. And thanks again, Edgegrave. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show. And like I said, check out all of our socials. We're always around. Check us out on the Get Haunted Paranormal Network as well. Our shows play on their Facebook page. So definitely go on there. They have some awesome paranormal content on there as well. And yeah, so I guess we will talk to you guys next week.
Have a good week.
Thank you for listening to the Warp Reality Paranormal Podcast, and thank you to all of my guests and contributors that help make this show possible. If you have a paranormal experience you'd like to share, questions, comments, or you'd like to be a guest in the show, please leave me a voicemail at 845-600-0744, or you can email me at ghostjoeny@gmail.com. You can do so anonymously if you'd like. Also, please check out our show notes for all social media links of this show and some of our friends. The Warp Reality Paranormal Podcast, uncovering the unseen.